Senator, the budget is done, but that's just one part of it. Of course, corruption can still come out in the implementation of the
Correct.
GAA, right? Have you
Yes.
guys? I know that's kind of not in your purview, but
Yeah.
in terms of what Congress can do to put in safeguards, what have you guys done differently this time around?
That's a very good question. We need to also distinguish where the budget process ends and the implementation starts. No, the budget process after the signing is done. No, so we already transmitted to the executive the budget, and the president signed it yesterday. So the next 12 months will be the implementation, and then Congress, both the House and the Senate, part of its inherent powers is to conduct oversight. So we plan to convene for the first time actually, the Joint Congressional Oversight Committee on public expenditures, and we will monitor big ticket items. We will monitor how items are being spent, how items are not spent, no? Because another big sakit ng gobyerno is underutilization. There's so many items that are not being spent. No, they will request for funds, but they will not implement it. So we will also look at utilization. We will also look at procedure on how these funds are being spent. So the oversight committee will be convened, and we will use that as a mechanism to monitor the implementation of the budget.
And will you let CSOs and budget watchdogs into this process with the oversight function of Congress? Because a lot of them, as early as now, are saying they're soft pork, hard pork, and all of that.
Well, let me just say that in this bill, Senator Lacson also introduced what we call now the anti-EPAL provision, where politicians are barred from joining distribution of assistance and aid. That prohibition actually only happens during election, but because of this general provision, now it will happen every single day. So that's another safeguard that important assistance or important aids will not be politicized.
But Senator, speaking of that anti-EPAL provision, some budget watchdogs are saying it still lacks teeth. It's insufficient in a sense that there are no clear penalties. Ano ba yung magiging penalty kung sakaling ang makita
Pauline,
na may...
this is a budget bill. It's not an anti-EPAL bill. No? So we cannot put penal provision in a budget bill, or else it lahat ng mga provisions doon magkakaroon ng penal provision. No? So the penal provision exists in other laws. That's why this anti-EPAL bill will ride on other laws. But since it's included in the appropriation law, what will happen now is before all of these amounts will be appropriated, the anti-EPAL provision should be considered. But when there is a violation, another law will be triggered.
But when it comes to the mechanisms of this anti-EPAL provision, Senator, so it will be up to the agencies and the departments to craft them, to implement them?
Correct. They have to come up with the guidelines. It's also in the general provisions that they're mandated to come up with the guidelines. So it's not empty, it's not empty air. They have to come up with concrete guidelines on how to implement the general provision. That's also part of our oversight to make sure that that provision gets operated.